Hello, I'm Elena Davlikanova, a democracy fellow with the Center for European Policy Analysis. And welcome to Understanding Ukraine, a series of conversations with Ukrainian opinion leaders, experts, and politicians on a variety of topics that help to better understand Ukraine, its ongoing war against Russia, the future of the Ukrainian people, and Ukraine's relationships with partners and allies. And today I have an honor to have this conversation with Olga Aivazovska, head of the board of the civil network OPORA. Olga, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, in one of your interviews, you said that elections are not about just an election day. It is about the whole process, about very honest and open talk within society itself. In your opinion, is it possible to organize elections under fire? And will or should Ukraine hold elections next year if the war continues?
Of course, if the war will continue, we have so many challenges, but it's not just about organization of the process. It's about political participation, all groups of Ukrainians who wants to participate, and this is about political competition. If we don't have any possibility to open field for political competition because of martial law, because of mobilization of Ukrainian citizens, men and women, to be a part of army and defending system, because of so many refugees abroad which may have right to vote, but I can't understand how they will participate as political actors in a process. And if we will not have answers to the question about freedoms, about participation, about political competition inside and outside the country, this process will not be free and fair. This process will not be free, first of all. And this is conversation between actors and experts, how to organize the process, not just open the polling station and print in the ballots, but how to protect political rights to compete, and how to open space for big discussion about future Ukraine after the end of the war. But those groups who are the real actively defending Ukraine and society now, they have another priority. It's not about political career of these people. It's about first priority to help Ukraine to survive now, to defend the territories, but first of all, the people on occupied territories, and to finish the war, but according to Ukrainian and our partner scenarios, not according to Russian scenario. And if the war, this stage of the war, will end next year, of course, Ukraine has to organize elections as soon as it possible after that. But now we, as an experts, civil society, our international partners have to focus on how to prepare landscape for open space, for political competition and good organization of post-war elections as soon as it will be possible. And this is about legislation, this is about political advertising abroad, this is about responsibility of organization of the process on the hosting countries, and we need to open space for discussions with our partners already about all of these issues.
You already started this topic, so let's outline for our partners what kind of challenges Ukraine is facing when it comes to organization of elections in the future, and what steps does it have to take right now to hold election when the right time comes.
So the first challenge, of course, it's about security, physical, infrastructural, when we're speaking about state, not just about people, and political, because we will be under the Russian influence for many years after the end of the battle. We have to understand that Russians has to leave Ukraine, not just physically as a soldiers, but as a group of influence, because Ukraine is independent state. So, but soft power will give them a chance to stay in Ukraine even after the end of the war. And we need to think about that too. Security is about security guarantees. Yeah, we may provide any statements, but if Ukraine will not be under the security guarantees of the broader alliance of our partners, and I'm speaking about EU, I'm speaking about potential membership of Ukraine in NATO, Russia can provide one-day missile attack against Ukrainian cities, and if we will have election day on that day, the level of turnout will be less than 10% for sure. We tried to organize an event a few weeks ago in Sumy, not far from the border with Russia, and we had 5 alarms during one day. People couldn't participate on voting process without understanding what will happen next minute, because those who are living close to border, they don't have enough time to find shelters. Ballistic rocket attacks usually happened before the alarm system working because it's too close to the borders. So if Russia will have will provide the insecurity through these potential massive attacks against Ukraine, it will break everything. So that's why it has to be building the anti-air defense system from Ukrainian side to be ready, even if Russia will use this source. Another question about participation. And we need to provide solutions now on the expertise level than on practical and implementation level. We have 20% of refugees abroad. 20% of Ukrainian society are living abroad now. And more than 80% in between this audience has electoral rights. So it's like people who have to participate. We have 1 million soldiers, and many of them are serving now. If the war will go on longer, these people will have only one priority: to serve the security of its own society and defend the territories. But participation, as I mentioned already many times, it's not just about voting. Russia has voting. Belarus had voting. Doesn't mean that Belarus and Russia are democracies. Of course not. So I want to understand or provide expertise or find the right solutions with the partners how to help people abroad to be candidates. Because we need to understand that if 20% of society are living abroad, they have to have representation in parliament. The same about soldiers. If we will provide solutions for voting, like post-voting, electronic voting, or we had discussions already about voting with using of the drones for providing help to soldiers to use to realize their constitutional right to vote. So many creative tools may be used, but is it possible to provide solutions for military elite or guys which are spending their lives for building security for Ukraine to be candidates? I'm not sure, because now they have to serve for security needs of Ukraine. The third question is about agitation, campaigning, media. So campaigning is very important for having free and fair elections. And as we all know, that during martial law period, there is a censorship. This is a reality. So nobody can publish everything because it may produce insecure background for society. The political discussions has to be under the so-called understanding that you can share very sensitive, sometimes secret information if MPs will discuss the counteroffensive attack plan, for example. This can be under the discussion and debates now. Or if we will have elections during hot stage of the war, politicians may provide their expertise about why Khersonska Oblast was occupied so soon. And this type of discussion is not in time when we are speaking about time of the during hot stage of the war. But political discussion, debates, and advertising sometimes are about cyber tools. For example, we can't use now social media, Facebook, Meta, and others for providing even social, political advertising information for our refugees abroad, because EU has a very strong regulation about social media and how to have campaigning for this 20% of audience if there is no access. For sure, it's about institutionalized solutions like to have bilateral agreements between Ukraine and hosting countries, or between Ukraine and EU about flexibility of some of the rules for Ukrainian political process. The same about internal landscape, because candidates during martial law period will not have flexibility to visit cities, communities, to speak with people. They can't organize even manifestations or meetings with big number of people, because all of these people will be under the potential attack of Russia. So, and legislation, this is very questionable thing, because we can't use electoral code for organizing post-war or during wartime period elections according to regular norms.
And you already started talking what Ukraine should do or could do with our allies to help Ukraine organize elections. So what help are we aspiring from Ukraine's allies in all these preparations? And how do you see the future of Ukraine altogether?
So preparation was already started, and OPORA, my colleagues, expert groups, and our international partners are playing a very active role in this process. I have to mention NDI, IFAS, IRI, and other American organizations which providing expertise for preparation post-war election. The same we're trying to do from the civil society side of Ukrainian civil society groups. And we have a strong partnership with EU and European organizations and institutions. So, but let's speak honestly that if you don't know what will happen next month, you can find the right solutions for everything. First stage is to develop scenarios. So you have to find solutions for each of the scenario. If war will ongoing for years, but the hot stage of the war will expire, and you have new, like we had between 2014 and 2022. Of course, Ukraine has a possibility to organize elections. If the hot stage of the war will ongoing for years and years, I'm not sure, because UK during Second World War had the same parliament for 10 years, and it was political compromises between authorities and opposition. We have the same now in Ukraine. But technically, we are speaking each day now with the partners how to organize so-called political advertising campaign, how to prepare a polling station abroad and inside Ukraine if something will happen according to security issues, how to develop legislation, how to aware people how to participate, and so on and so forth. And this process was already started a year ago, but it doesn't mean that we are ready now to start the process in December, because according to constitution, without martial law, we have to start presidential elections 21st of December. So it's very close to us.
Olga, thank you very, very much for all this detailed description of all the challenges that Ukraine is facing right now. And I hope that together, in cooperation with our allies, we will be able to overcome all of them, and Ukraine will continue its democratic path. And thank you very much for watching this episode of Understanding Ukraine. If you're interested in our work, please visit cepa.org.